Hello everyone, this is Ted Bauman, editor of the Bauman Letter here at Banyan Hill Publishing. I'm sure by now you've probably heard about 5G technology. It's the cell phone of the future. It's going to allow you to do things like download videos in 5 seconds that used to take 5 minutes. Well, I think the important thing to think about 5G is where it's going to benefit us first, and to start playing stocks that target that particular sector of 5G. Here's why. If you think about it, there isn't really a huge advantage in being able to download movies in 5 seconds, is there? I don't download movies on my phone very often. And in fact, I think what we're going to see is that the take-up of 5G by consumers in the form of all the things that we've seen advertised because of this blazing new speed of 5G wireless technology is actually going to be fairly slow. Because the marginal benefit of being able to download things very quickly is probably not going to be worth the amount of money that cell phone companies are going to charge for those services. But I think there is a sector where 5G is going to be taken up just as rapidly as the products are invented that allow it to do that. And the reason for that is based on something called latency, which is related to speed, but it's different. Now let's look at a graphic that shows you the different kinds of things that 5G technology can do. One on the left-hand side is a bunch of consumer-oriented things, things like making your sensors in your car respond more quickly, or your cell phones, or fixed broadband, all the things that we've been told are going to be the big benefits of 5G. But on the right-hand side are some things that are a little less obvious, and those are the things that I think are going to be the first things that 5G begins to produce profits. Now, one is in things like fleet management and agriculture and shipping. Because of the very rapid speed of connections, it's going to be possible to link together huge networks of sensors across, for example, an entire trucking company's set of trucks, their fleet of trucks. They can monitor them in real time in ways that they can do now, but it's going to be a lot more accurate than at the present. But the real applications are in that little sector up at the top that says ultra reliable low latency communications. And this is where the concept of latency comes to the fore. Now, as you'll see, the things that are around that phrase in things like autonomous vehicles, tactile internet, which means internet where you're actually moving things by remotely controlling them, industrial automation, all those kinds of things involve the feature of 5G called latency. Now, latency is essentially the speed with which something that you're trying to control remotely using 5G technology responds to your controls. So if you can imagine a surgeon, for example, conducting an operation from far away, right now there's a 2 or 3 second lag, perhaps, between the surgeon's motion and what actually happens with the scalpel. With 5G, that could be brought down to next to nothing, almost instantaneous. Now, the big application of this, I think, in the first place, the place where we're going to see the first usage of this, comes up in the next chart I want to show you. Now, here is a factory manufacturing process, a schematic of it. As you can see, there are different stages, and at each stage, the 5G technology can play a different role, basically by allowing real-time communication with each stage of the manufacturing process. From ordering supplies to bringing those supplies to the assembly line to the actual conduct of the assembly line. And at each stage, what you're seeing is real-time, very rapid, low latency response to the signals that are being passed around within a factory by 5G sensors. Now, this does something beyond just make it possible for remote human operators to control the process. Because the latency is so low, increasingly, 5G is going to allow things like factory robots to make their own decisions, because the lag time between when they sense something and when they can react to that input is going to disappear to almost nothing. And that's going to mean that 5G is going to revolutionize the manufacturing process. And because of that, I predict that 5G's impact as an economic sector, as an investment opportunity, is going to show up first in robotics and factory manufacturing and automation. Now, the next chart I want to show you shows a forecast of the number of Internet of Things connected objects around the world between now and 2025. Now, what you can see is that the proportion of things that are used by humans, in other words, by consumers, things like cell phones, etc., are going to rise, but they're not going to rise as rapidly as the things that are used in factory automation. So as you can see, the forecast is that we'll go from 6.2 billion connected objects to 11.4 in 2025 when it comes to consumers. However, when it comes to industrial automation, we go from 4.5 connected internet-connected objects to 13.7 in 2025. That's much more rapid than the uptake in consumers. So my message for you today is, if you're looking for opportunities to invest in 5G, my recommendation is that you look first into applications that are going to be taken up quickly, because that's where the profits are going to be found. And the big one, I think, is going to be in industrial automation. And I think if you want to invest in 5G related companies for quick profits, that's where you should be doing it. This is Ted Bowman signing off, and I'll be talking to you again soon.